heated hose, a hydrant cover, maybe a couple strips of heat tape, and then if you guys are long-terming in somewhere that's cold, I would say either bags that you blow up underneath the campers to like help insulate it, or the actual insulated skirting. Yeah, it's all about trial and error, honestly. Like every camper has a different connect. We had a high of 85 mile-an-hour winds. We show good, the bad, and the ugly.
Hey guys.
So we want to talk about in this video how we kind of winterized our camper and how we kind of made it through the winter in Tennessee, because it did snow. It was pretty
got cold at night too, and then we were right there on the river, so that breeze was blowing right off of it.
So we used a 50-foot heated hose.
Yep.
We got it off Amazon,
and we bought a 50-foot hose because where our spigot is, it's just easier. Just make sure you get the right one for your rig. And honestly, it works great. We didn't use it the first portion of it, and our pipes froze I think 3 times while we were in Clifton, Tennessee. Once it defrosted pretty quickly. The second time we waited a couple days. The third 2
time,
days, I think.
The third time was pretty bad. And then we hooked up the heated hose to the rig, and it worked pretty good after that, honestly. I think a heated hose, if you guys ever plan to go through anything that is 30 degrees or lower, I think a heated hose is probably very needed. And
then maybe bag,
so there's 2 different things that me and Houston have been interested in trying. We've seen people put the bags underneath their RV where you can...
The airbags.
Yeah, they're like airbags, and they block the wind from like going underneath your RV and freezing everything. We do have tank heaters. The tank heaters work pretty good, but the problem with ours is it's the piping that comes out that gets frozen.
Because they have it exposed probably like 2.5 feet, and yeah.
So it's not so much our tanks, it's the piping that goes out of our RV that freezes. Yeah. And honestly, it's literally trial and error. You have to just try, like each place or each RV is different. Each place that you stay is different. So when you stay at a certain place, you need to like where we were at, we were getting wind from the river, from the Tennessee River underneath. Sometimes there's snow that can blow underneath your camper. There's just like different elements of the weather that could affect you. There's different places. Wyoming is significantly colder than most places. Yeah.
Rather than like, I don't know.
I feel like Tennessee, it was cold, but it didn't the snow melted in like a day.
Yeah.
Literally melted. Like you barely saw any. In Wyoming, it takes a decent amount of time for snow to melt.
Types of skirting, you know?
Yeah, so there's 2 different types of skirting that we've been interested in. The bags, we've seen a few people use them, and we've been interested in them. The other one, we stay next to this guy, and he has skirting that he had installed in South Dakota?
North Dakota or something? South Dakota? I can't remember.
And it's actually really nice. They put like so you could slide it down.
Yep. Instead of buttons or Velcro, it's only Velcro on the slides, and everywhere else it's a strip, and they screwed it into your rig. Yep. And you just slide it in there, and
so that would be something you'd want to invest in when you are keeping your camper for a long time.
And it has a garage part. If you have a 5th wheel, you could make that front cap a garage. So that's,
like where you can store your bikes if you have a 4-wheeler.
Or a Harley.
Yeah, or something.
It would fit.
And so Houston asks them once in a while, like, hey, what's the temperature under there? It was cold one day.
So what say it's like, it's 30 degrees warmer under there than it is on the app.
I don't know. It was pretty. It was like negative temperatures, and he still said it was 32 degrees underneath his camper. Yeah. And that's kind of where like you want to keep it, is like around 30. If your camper drops underneath below 30, that's when it starts causing problems. Well, and it's true, when ice gets frozen and then it defrosts, it expands. And what do you think happens to your pipes when that happens? So
he has a heater under there too. He has just a little ceramic heater like this big, and it swivels.
We've seen, the hot shot that brought our camper, he freaking had a diesel heater in the back of his truck, and he would sleep in the back of his truck, but run the tubing through his slider window in the back of his truck, and he'd have a diesel heater. There's so much, it's crazy. Some people think up the craziest stuff to be able to like you know,
stay warm, make it through the winter. I mean, there's people that are in North Dakota in RVs, but
yeah, we watched a few people. I don't know. Me and Houston. So like, I grew up in a colder area, kind of. Forest Hill is higher in the mountains. It does get snow, but definitely not as bad as Wyoming. Houston's grown up in Wyoming his entire life, so we both kind of just like aren't. I don't know. Like, we're not snow people. Like, it's not like something that's like exciting or fun to us. I mean, like, we don't mind it, but if we had the choice,
I think I would.
We would rather be somewhere warmer, but
consistently.
We do have, like, you know, we are younger. Houston's almost 29. I'm 31, so like it doesn't affect us like some people it affects. But the colder weather, it's not very fun sometimes. So that's the biggest thing is heated hose is number one. I think what would have helped us in Clifton too is heat tape. We could have wrapped heat tape around our connection where the piping and the faucet itself, and that probably would have saved us a little bit.
I think maybe next year we'll have a different method.
Yeah, it's all about trial and error, honestly. Like, every camper has different connections. My parents' camper, their connections are in an actual bay, so they don't have that much problem because ours are fully exposed to the elements. They actually have a bay that they can, you know, like insulate or whatever.
And then our water is exposed too.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's right on the back of it, so the wind just blows right up.
So number one, our suggestion would be at least a 50-foot heated hose.
Maybe 25 feet. You don't have to get a 50
Yeah,
foot,
it just depends where your connection is. We like the 50 because our connection's kind of weird.
And it's always so far.
Yeah.
Every time. A hydrant cover.
A hydrant cover.
And they sell different ones for different hydrants.
Yeah.
So make
Honestly,
sure you get one.
We could have made it through Tennessee without those. But if you're going to stay in any of the northern states, a heated hose, a hydrant cover, maybe a couple strips of heat tape, and then if you guys are long-terming in somewhere that's cold, I would say either bags that you blow up underneath the campers to like help insulate it, or the actual insulated skirting.
Yep. Or I see people use foam board too.
You can do it any way you want, but with Wyoming, it's kind of, the weather's crazy. So I feel like foam board, you would have to like find the wind is crazy. So that's a lot of the reason why we haven't done a lot of outside is when they delivered our camper for like 4 days after we had our camper, there was 65-mile-an-hour winds, and then we had a high of 85-mile-an-hour winds. And I'm like, I'm so thankful that our hotshot was able to get our camper here before that. Like, he literally was an hour before the winds. An hour.
And when he dropped it off,
he's like, oh, I felt it.
It started picking up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I would hire this guy again.
Coming from California, I thought Houston was over-exaggerating. Like, the winds aren't that bad. The winds in Wyoming, I don't know about other states. I'm sure South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska. The winds are bad, and you guys need to take that into account. Weather is, if you aren't familiar with the state, make sure you watch the weather app. Make sure you watch any high wind warnings, any severe winter advisories. Watch the weather app wherever you're going, because, you know, it'll update through your GPS or like where you're located. It'll update, so just watch where you're. So I knew like a week or two before that it was going to be crazy winds, and I was telling Houston like, hey, the weather's going to be kind of crazy. Wind advisory for high profile vehicles and campers, like it specifically, or low profile and RV and campers. It specifically said RV and campers, and I'm like, oh, and he said he was going to be there at 11:30, and that started at 11, and I'm like, Houston, you might want to let him know, because I know he's just trying to get his job done, but a little nerve-wracking. So
no, I had a lot of faith in our guy. Brad.
I'm not saying he was bad. I'm just saying, like, pre-warn him that there are going to be high winds, because not everybody realizes that Wyoming has those
Especially
winds.
when you're driving, you're not looking at your phone. You're driving. So
he just sent him a text and said, "Hey, just letting you know, we're not telling you to stop or anything, but
and
just
letting you know." They pop up the message, so you don't have to use your hand, your phone, or anything. So that's
our biggest thing is watch the weather. If you have two people, the person who's not driving can watch the weather wherever you're driving through. Get a heated hose if you want to spend time in the winter, and just be prepared. And it's going to be a trial and error learning experience, because
and your pipes may freeze, so don't freak out. Try and defrost them
with a
blow dryer.
You just need to be able to roll with it, because some days they'll stay frozen. Houston, literally the last time it froze, he had to go out there with my blow dryer because the pipe was
But what did I start with? Tell him what it started with. That Mr. Buddy heater I had on it.
Yeah.
And because I forgot that Olivia had brought a hair dryer
that I never use.
She never uses it. So I was out there for maybe an hour and a half, me and Carter, trying to defrost it, and yeah. So then I come back inside because I ran out of propane, and Olivia said, "Well, I have a blow dryer, I think." Sure enough, there was a blow dryer. So then I put the bag, put it up the blow dryer up the bag so that heat would just circulate. And it defrosted pretty fast. Water started dripping, and I knew we were good.
I think our biggest thing is we were so grateful for the people that let us rent their property for a couple months that we weren't trying to like ruin their stuff. So we were more vigilant on like, hey, we don't want to freeze their pipe. So I mean, we could fix our camper. We just didn't want to break the stuff because they did let us rent their property for a decent amount. So we just didn't want, like, I don't know.
I guess what you're trying to say really is when you go somewhere, respect it.
Yeah.
Respect it and like.
Well, they didn't make us put a deposit or anything, so I wasn't trying to ruin their stuff. And I know they were trying to sell their property, so it's not fair to them if we were to like just be careless and like not worry about it. So.
Yeah. So always be mindful of your neighbors or who you're renting from or what park you're at, KOA. Just be respectful and treat it like it's yours. Try and leave it better than you found it. Pick up a few sticks and I don't know. Just that's how we survived the winter. Honestly, it was trial and error. It was literally trial and error because we don't know anybody that has this exact setup that we have, and so we just had to learn it on our own. And we've never done this. This is like our first winter. So
because most of the time, the last camper we had was a dinky little camper, and we would winterize it every winter. So we weren't in it in the winter. We didn't know what to do. So. It was a learning experience, but you just make sure you have, I think mandatory is a heated hose.
Maybe have even a few of the antifreezes on hand, because if it starts to freeze and it's going to freeze a lot worse than you expect, maybe you could try and winterize it real fast, try and save some pipes. Because
that's what stinks with us though, is we have a washer and dryer. We have so much extra that needs to get winterized.
So we use probably about 4 gallons, I think, to get this winterized, but we just read the manual, and
I wasn't paying $600.
No, we got quoted $600 from Camping World to do a winterization. $600, and back in Cheyenne, it would have probably been $100, I think, no more than that.
I think we paid $100 to do it to the camper. I think they winterized it at Camping World in Cheyenne, our old one. But yeah,
you gotta be willing to learn. You gotta be willing to figure it out, and there's like times where you may get frustrated with your wife, and it does happen because you're in tight quarters. But you got to make the best of it. You got to try and
I think
work together as a team, because when we do work together, we're pretty unstoppable.
So just watch out, because we're gonna have. Can you grab that, please? So just watch out for a video that's going to be coming out. We're going to show, I'm trying to find the before and after pictures of everything that Forest River fixed for us, and we're going to have that within the next couple of days so you guys can see the progress and everything they fixed. And I mean, we're happy again. We have everything back.
Yeah.
We show good, the bad, and the ugly, because there are some creators that are out there that will just show you.
What is it?
It's not always flamingos and pineapples. Jeez, kid.
Good throw, bud.
Our son's trying to play catch with Houston.
Daddy, stop!
Boys, because we've been saying.
Yeah.
Daddy, stop!
So, no, son, he's getting another one.
So yeah, that'll be our video that comes out. Seriously? That'll be our video that comes out in the next couple days. And just watch out for it.
No.
We're gonna show you guys the before and after pictures. So
hey guys, I got a question. I got a question for you. If you've stayed till the end of the video, you're gonna want to know this. But if we started selling merchandise, would you guys be interested?
I know.
That drop a comment down below if you want us to know.
I found a place that I can get shirts a little bit cheap, and they turned out pretty cool, so we'll see how it turns out.
And we'll drop
this is like our trial and error to see if this place is going to print right or not.
Yeah, but if you guys want to get some merch and represent, show that you support Rolling with the Sanche'z's, that would be awesome. Like, subscribe, show your friends. Catch you guys on the next one. Don't miss out. Hit that follow button.